Hey everyone, Michael Short here. Come on, let's go outdoors. Well, what is and what is not happening with grizzly bears? That is probably the question of the day, and no one better to give us some answers than the minister responsible for forestry and parks, Todd Loewen. Minister, first of all, thanks so much for spending some time with us.
Happy to be here. Thanks for bringing me on.
All right. Well, let's get into it. I guess what has been tossed around is that the grizzly bear hunting season is back. Give us some clarification.
Okay, yeah, so no, there's no grizzly bear season and there's no hunt back. But what we do have is an opportunity for Alberta residents to be involved in the management of problem grizzly bears. Currently, we have Fish and Wildlife officers killing grizzly bears across the province as they feel need to be done to protect property or lives. And what we have now is an opportunity for Alberta residents to be involved in that process, to be assigned the basically the name of problem wildlife responders, and that will allow Albertans to be able to help in that process. Which, of course, Albertans help manage all other wildlife in Alberta, and this is just part of that same strategy going forward.
So, is this a new direction in terms of maybe taking some of the pressure off fish and wildlife officers for having to deal with problem bears?
Exactly, exactly. So currently, what happens when a problem bear is identified or a situation happens, either livestock killed or somebody feels threatened by a grizzly bear, the officers are called in. The officers assess the situation. Pardon me. Look at all the facts, and they decide at that point whether that bear should be destroyed, whether the bear should be moved, or the bear should just be left. And so that same process is going to remain in place with the same metrics that they use to make those decisions. But the officer will have one other option, and that is to call somebody in from a short list of Albertans to take care of that problem there.
So let's talk about that list then. How does someone qualify to become able to dispatch an issue like this?
So basically, what will happen is through the realm process, there'll be communications going out to Albertans to be able to put their name on, do an online application, basically to be put on a short list to be chosen from. And as the situations arise, if the officer and the wildlife management team feel that it's a suitable situation for a resident to become involved, then they'll just pull the first person off the list, make that contact. They'll have a certain amount of time to respond. Pardon me, certain there'll be certain conditions, very finite area, very dedicated amount of time, and they'll receive the authorization to go in there and take euthanize that bear.
So I guess timing, as you said, is critical because let's face it, if there's a carcass, and maybe the bear's just been feeding on it, or other bears come in, how do we know that that hunt or that dealing with that problem bear is going to be effective?
Yeah, exactly, and that's going to be the determination of the wildlife management team at the time. And so we've allowed up to 24 hours for the person to respond. There could be situations where a smaller time frame will be imposed, where the officer feels that maybe 6 hours, that the person needs to be there in 6 hours to respond. And if that's the case, then that's what will be determined. And the person that's called, if they don't feel they can respond in that amount of time, then we'll just go to the next person on the list.
And in terms of how long this um, uh, so given a given scenario, the call comes in, the hunter arrives to deal with the issue. How long would that individual have to deal with it before it becomes, just not possible?
Yeah, every situation will be different because we know that the longer time goes on, the bear could move out of the area and another bear move into the area. We do want to make sure that we're focused on the proper animals, and so there will be a finite amount of time. But again, that'll be up to the wildlife professionals there on the scene to determine the time frame, the location, and it won't be like a WMU or anything like that. It'll be a very finite area that they'll be able to operate in.
I guess some people may be listening to this saying, well, why not simply trap the bear and relocate it?
And sometimes that's what'll happen. Like I say, the matrix that they use when they come upon a problem bear, sometimes that's what the decision will be. We're going to trap this bear. We're going to move it. That's a decision that's made on the ground, and it's the same process that's been happening in the past is what's going to continue. We're not changing that decision making process. That will remain in place, and it's just a matter of when it comes down to euthanizing a bear, whether a fish and wildlife officer will kill it or will bring in a problem wildlife responder to take care of it.
When are you hoping to kick this program off, Minister?
Yeah, we should be able to get it going this month yet, and start getting that list together, and then start watching as things progress as far as opportunities to respond.
Do you have a sense of just how many problem bears, and we're talking on the serious end, whether they've threatened human life or cattle, that are being dealt with on a yearly basis?
There's about 20 grizzlies a year shot or killed in negative human interactions. And this program, we're allowing up to 15. I'm not sure that we'll even get to that because, again, it'll just be under certain circumstances. So that's why we picked the number. We want to pick a number below what's being done now. And the Alberta government's been working on the recovery of grizzly bears for quite a few years now, and we don't want to interrupt that recovery process. I think it's been successful, but I actually think what's happened is it has been so successful, and I'm not sure that there was a full consideration of what a full recovery would look like and what it would look like on the landscape as in regards to how would it affect farmers and ranchers, how would it affect hikers, how would it affect somebody sending their kids to the bus stop 200 meters from their house.
So yeah, I mean, a lot of numbers have been thrown out. I mean, the last I heard is between 700 and 800 grizzlies on the land base. Do you feel that whatever that number is, Alberta, given its reach with municipalities, industry, recreational needs into the backcountry, that we have reached capacity in terms of what is known in terms of a grizzly bear population?
Yeah, so the latest numbers I have from the wildlife specialists is about 1,150,000 to 1,150 the bears they feel are on the landscape, and normally those numbers are pretty conservative, so we could have more than that even. But again, as the population has risen, then the range has expanded too, and so a lot of people are talking about, well, we're encroaching on their habitat, but it's almost the other way around now where the bears are coming out, and we do have areas of core grizzly habitat and core grizzly populations, and then we also have kind of the fringe areas where they're coming out, and then we have areas beyond that where they're coming out where the areas are heavily populated, and the interactions there are more likely to result in a negative response.
I would just like to revisit the application process if I could. So a hunter puts in their application, I guess. Are you
Yeah.
looking for a certain set of hunting history and or capabilities, maybe tracking as part of it? Just walk us through what actually will qualify someone to participate in this program.
So the process in Alberta already, as far as hunters are concerned, is they either have to have previous experience or they have to, of course, complete the hunter training program. And so that we feel that Albertans are qualified, that if they've gone through that process already, then they would be qualified for this. We'll probably have the age limit of 18 on this, and we may put other conditions as we go along too. But basically, right now we know that Albertans are capable, or we know we have our wildlife and conservation officers. They have an expertise, they're professionals and everything else, but there's a lot of regular Albertans that spend a lot of time in the outdoors too, and are very capable to manage situations like this.
So to be clear, the person who is selected to do the hunt would be going out, by themselves. They would not be accompanied by a fish and wildlife officer.
No, not necessarily. They may be depending on the circumstances, but it wouldn't be required. And again, I do want to kind of clarify, this wouldn't be a hunt. This is taking care of a problem wildlife. When we look at what we would a normal hunter would expect. A normal hunter would expect that they would be able to go where, when, and hunt what they want. The wildlife responders won't have those options. They'll be told where to hunt, they'll be told what to hunt, and they'll be told when to hunt. And so they won't have those options. And there's been this discussion as well. This is just the grizzly bear hunt. It's like, well, no, the grizzly bear hunt ended in 2006. And if anybody is to suggest that this is a hunt, then they would have to believe that the hunt never ended, because we're not changing how we manage grizzlies. We're not changing the matrix that's used to deal with problem bears. The only thing that's changing basically is who pulls the trigger.
Interesting, Minister, that this program is being expanded into another area, and one that involves cervids. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so what we're releasing this all at the same time, both for grizzly bears and for elk. And because we know there's a lot of problem elk herds that are causing damage to farmers' crops, we see anywhere from, I think, $8 to $13 million a year of damage done by elk to agriculture producers. And so we'll have a similar program as we have for grizzly bears, but with elk, it'll be where there's a problem herd of elk located. Then we'll be able to pull people off a short list too, to be able to go and harvest those problem elk. Traditionally, what we've done is we've just had hunting seasons. We've just let loose more tags and for people to hunt WMUs for elk to reduce the populations to help with those depredation problems. But this way we'll be focused more on the herds that are problems and less on the overall population. And the reason why, I guess there's a couple reasons. We already have a licensed system for elk, so we didn't have to change regulations for that. The reason why people have picked up the grizzly bear change is because it was a change of regulations. It had to be posted online because we had to create this authorization for this grizzly opportunity for residents to manage those problem bears. And so that's why and of course, I think grizzly bears attract a lot more attention because I think some of the activist organizations, I think they can use things like this. If they misrepresent it, they can raise some money for their organization. So that's why there's been so much focus on the grizzly bears. And one more thing I just wanted to add too is this entire plan is a multifaceted plan. We plan on working on increased public education, how to avoid negative interactions with grizzly bears, and how to avoid the problems with elk and damaging their crops. We're also working on habitat enhancement, and we've done some of that already in Westbury Lakes. We've done some mechanical clearing near the Westbury Lakes campground to increase grizzly bear habitat so that the bears are less likely to be bothering campers. But we want to do more prescribed burns. We're working on the Ribbon Creek burn, prescribed burn in Kananaskis also. And I've asked the department to work on a Waterton to Wilmore and beyond prescribed burn plan to make sure that we're increasing that habitat so that the elk and grizzlies and other wildlife have a place to go and where they can feed and flourish and not be as reduce those opportunities for those negative human wildlife interactions.
All right, Minister, we'll leave it there. Again, folks, I guess if you're interested in getting involved in this, watch your Alberta Realm account and look for a notice.